it definitely looks like the government is really locked into Puff. P. Diddy, they're locked into Diddy.
So you don't think this is all for show?
No, not for sure. I think they're locked into him, where the allegations that may have surfaced or been told to them, and they probably been able to prove some of them. Yes, there's enough people that are around him or knew him that probably told a lot of things to the government about him, because either they're mad at him or they're bolstering their cases for civil lawsuits because they saw Cassie getting paid. When she got paid, the first thing I said was, this is going to go right downhill, because he paid her very quickly. Because why? Because, well, Cassie's there with him all the time, and she probably knows more than most people.
She knows. I'm sure she knows a lot.
And she probably signed an NDA. Now, from what I'm told, an NDA is not NDA is with a client, where they say, I won't testify. We sign an NDA. I won't give any information about you.
Right.
But that doesn't work with the government. NDAs don't matter.
Wait.
So what I'm saying to you is, if I sign with a client an NDA not to speak or not to discuss our agreement, because that's what happens, it's an agreement. The attorney draws up an agreement where they allege or they say, you can't say anything about what happened to him, what he's done with you, certain things that you've done with him, blah, 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 to discredit him in any way. And you sign an NDA. But in federal court, NDAs don't matter, because the U.S. attorney will say, NDAs are no good here. That agreement between you and him. You have to tell us everything that you did with him.
So let's break that down to me. So you're telling me if this goes to trial, right? Mm-hmm. And how does that work? Can they force her to get on the stand, or how does that hold?
All right, I'll tell you like this. In the THISISAGTV trial,
right,
that I just did in the Eastern District,
I remember.
They brought in over 30 people,
yeah,
to testify. And the government used a lot of people. One thing about the government, you can't tell them you're not testifying. You could try to say, I'm not going to do this and that, but they have ways of coming after you also. You have to testify. They brought a lot of people in. So in this particular case, it's not like people can say, I don't want to come to court and testify. The government will say you have to, or they'll subpoena you, and then they'll bring you in handcuffs to court.
What if they just can't locate you?
They'll locate you.
You serious? Wow.
They'll locate you.
Even if I just take the plane off?
You can take a plane and go to another country. They might not find you today, but they will find you. I know a lot of good of my friends that work there, and they went out and got a lot of people. They went to, when the Jam Master Jay case went on, because we were all talking about it,
right,
they went to Atlanta and Florida and Detroit. They traveled all over to get certain people and to say, hey, look, you got to come back. They even went to the prisons and talked to people in the prisons that were in and said, we need you to come testify. Nah, man, I ain't testifying. Well, if you don't testify, this is going to happen. So, yes, they will find you. Especially if they have a case that's, and this case looks, the way it's going right now, it definitely looks like the government is really locked into Puff. P. Diddy, they're locked into Diddy.
So you don't think this is all for show?
No, not for sure. I think they're locked into him, where the allegations that may have surfaced or been told to them, and they probably been able to prove some of them with the people that they have. Remember, the people that are cooperating are people that know him well. They know his information, everything about him. So it's not like somebody like yourself or myself that says, yeah, I heard he does this, because that's all hearsay.
Right, inner circle people.
Right, but these are inner circle people. People that have been with him or have done things with him, maybe had sexual acts with him.
Right.
And people are smart these days. They keep things. They keep certain things. Keep videos, they keep texts, they keep all kinds of stuff to prove that they were engaged in certain things.
Right. I had a question. This was like going through my mind. Is it possible, because this is Homeland Security, I'm not sure if they could do this, before the raid, is it possible either his phone, his studio, his home, property, anything was bugged and may have something incriminating against them?
You know what? To apply for eavesdropping devices and things like that, I don't know. They could have had that, but I think it's more corrupt. They could have had that. They could have tapped his phone or had up on his conversations about what he had. We don't know that yet. We have to wait and see.
Right.
But for the most
only
part,
assuming.
yeah. But for the most part, I think it's more cooperation for certain people that went up and spoke to him. You know, spoke to the U.S. Attorney's office and gave credible information. Because remember, the U.S. Attorney's office is not going to take a case unless they have really good, credible information that supports a criminal conduct or activity where they can get a conviction.
In other words, a slam dunk case that can prove.
Well, mostly with the government. And the government, they have ways. Like I said, I did a lot of cases with the government, so I know how these cases work,
Right.
And they bring people in, and people start talking. Yeah, I did this. Yeah, I did that. Because all you need in the realm of the government is, like, certain things could be said. Like, we wouldn't use them in state court, but in federal court, if somebody told you something, you could use that. Like if I say he did X, Y, and Z, and I was there, you can use that information to proceed with a criminal case. The government has a lot of leeway when it comes to these type of cases where certain things they can use that the state can't use, and that's why they call the government.
Right.